How the hell you guys doing today? It is, what the hell day is it today? Wednesday, I think. October, whatever, I don't know. It's after Thanksgiving, I know that. It's either Tuesday or Wednesday. Let's see here. Yeah, Tuesday today, sorry. First day back to work after a long weekend. Anyway, we're gonna try hauling some shit out, but how it's gonna go, I don't know. Wind is gusting 65, 70 km. So I'm going out in the pasture, so it wouldn't really matter as long as the manure gets taken out of the corral, right? But we'll see. If it's blowing it too hardcore, I probably won't bother worrying about it too much. And it's cool. Like that wind, it's got some bite to her today. Anyways, so yeah, that's what's going to be going on. I did get Big Blue fixed, I think. We're going to give it a try with what I did. So yeah, and on Big Blue, we're going to get that bucket with grapple hooked up also. I got to move the portable alleyway out of the way, and we'll get to work at hauling some more political promises out. Talk to y'all later. Alrighty, so remember I said how the one bolt was missing? Well, that one was the one that broke out. And I found one, a spare that I had for the McCormick loader, which is the same as this. Anyways, the plate, which was all bent to shit, it's not 110%, but we're gonna give her a try. I put it in the press and I pressed it as straight as I can get it. I just gotta tighten that one bolt down a little better before I forget, because it's just in there finger fucking loose. Take my glasses off so I can fucking see, not 5/8. I believe it's 9/16. It's actually metric. But this ought to work. Oh fuck, it's bigger than that. It's a fucking metric bastard. I'll get that son of a bitch tightened down, and then we can switch buckets out and go from there. Bring you guys back in a bit. Alrighty guys, well, finally heading out with our first load. After monkeying around in the shop with Big Blue and greasing the shit spreader and checking oil levels in the gearbox of the shit spreader, so on and so forth. Then we just nicely get started, put one bucket load in, and CP messages me and says, "I'm making you lunch, come and have your lunch." Well, when CP makes lunch, you stop and you go have lunch. And here we are, 1:45, and we're finally heading out with the first load, and this stuff is heavy. It's a lot wetter than anything over here. So yeah, it's heavy manure. Anywho, we're gonna put this out in the pasture. It's in a little bit different location, so I'll bring you back when we get there. Alrighty guys, so this is a different area in our pasture. You see right there's a bush pile, but this area where I am right now, it's never had any kind of fertilizer or manure or anything put on it outside of what the cows drop when they're walking through and grazing. So CP and I were discussing it, and we decided we should put a little bit of something out here. That pasture I've been feeding kind of here and there and kind of all over, but this one, we did 1 year, we fed down by those trees down there, outside of that, that's all it's had. So yeah, it hasn't had a lot on it, that's for sure. And I'm not sure how heavy I should put on her, but anything is better than nothing, right? So I'll let you guys go. We're gonna work at getting some more political promises hauled out. Catch y'all later. Morning, everybody. Not as windy today, not as cold today. It never froze last night. Anyway, got him running yesterday. That's Big Blue. And got this corral all cleaned out yesterday. There was like 12 or 14 loads in here. So I just did the scrape up with the bobcat from the spillover, and I had a small pile in that corner that with Big Blue and the grapple I couldn't quite get. So I dumped it in our pile that we had in front of the barn from when we were cleaning horse pens. Spreader's right there. So now we're going to move into our next most used corral, which is corral 1. And generally what happens is to make it easy, or easier, depending on where I'm hauling it to anyways, back the spreader in this area and remove this corral panel and just load literally kind of in between the pile and the bobcat, just load right here type of thing. So we'll undo these chains, we'll get this corral panel pulled out of the way, and we'll see about getting to work. Talk to you guys a little bit. Alrighty guys, well, it's been an eventful day. One thing that was scheduled to happen and never did happen, vet canceled on us, so that's postponed until next week. This corral's all cleaned out, but this year I didn't take the windbreak part of it down. I just left them where they were, worked around it, so to speak, alongside it, better yet. Corral 1 got cleaned out. There we go. And because of where we had the round bale feeder last half of March and April, which was right here, like the edge of the feeder was right where that dirt line is, that gravel line, and the cattle eroded the ground really bad right here. So I brought in gravel and filled it in a little bit on the edge here. The water off the roof of the barn's still gonna, it needs to run somewhere, so basically it runs off the roof, comes around, floods this corral, and then from this corral floods the next corral, then from that corral into the next corral, and then it goes into the spillway. It's kind of a stupid setup, but it's the best we got. And right now I don't got anybody on hand that can haul a pile of clay into my corral, and to get that stuff packed proper, blah blah blah, I just take it down to clay line, which is where we are. Done. Yes, we have to fight with water, but that's a ongoing thing year after year. But that corral is cleaned out. I did not clean anything from the shelter itself. because it's only like fucking 6 inches thick, if that. In fact, you could see daylight under the friggin' manure board in that one spot. So we just left that alone. This corral, kind of the same thing. There's hardly any manure in the shelter itself. It might be like 6 inches, so I'm just gonna leave it. But this spot right here, around the round bale feeder, there's like 2 loads worth of manure right there. I'm gonna haul that out. And the bullpen, kind of the same situation. We're not gonna touch the shelter per se. I'm not gonna worry about going into the shelter, but where the round bale feeder was, out in that area, I've got 2, maybe 3 loads out there that we gotta clean up. And one of these days I gotta get fucking tin and tin the end wall. I don't have to worry about the roof right now for the bulls, but I'd like to get the end wall fucking looked after. So here soon we're gonna have to pull those posts, and we're gonna be putting portable windbreaks and portable corrals in that area where we tore the corral down. I'm just waiting on my lumber slab supplier to let me know when he's got a couple of lifts of slabs ready to go for me. He's busy with orders from people all over the place, so I'm on the list. When it's gonna happen, I don't know. And yeah, I did uproot another rock, and he's a good enough size. He came out of there. But anywho, Brutus, you big bastard. Hey? Where do you figure, huh? He got his grain for the day. He's on a calf ration. And he just about ate it all. 3/4 of a coffee can a day. So, anywho, that's what was going on here today. Just a lot more shit cleaning, so on and so forth. And then we had to run to the city quick. I needed a couple of things. And our son Dylan needed a couple of things brought in that we had stored out here. So, anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go for now, and we'll catch you later. Alrighty guys, how's it going today? Yep, we're still at her, but I'll be done today. We're hauling it out into our open west pasture. It's not a very big pasture. It's only, I don't know, 45-ish acres, maybe 50. And this end here, like you guys have seen me out here, this is where we basically feed the cows in the winter. But for whatever reason, this end of the pasture, the north end of this piece, it grows, the grass grows, but not overly great. So we've worked at last winter, and well, the last number of winters, when we start feeding cattle, we'll feed out in this end and then work our way back home. And you guys have seen the grass, like farther over and back that way, how big it would get. But I've never really fed much on top of this area here. So we're gonna dump the manure out here, because I'm kind of thinking about putting the cows in the bush for this winter. Mixing it up a little bit is kind of my thoughts anyways. So yeah, in that area where there was lots of buckbrush and we mowed it, put the cows out there, manure it, and really get that grass growing in the bush area. And then out here we'll just spread our manure. We've brought out, I don't know how many loads already. I don't know, 4. Maybe this is number 5 right now, maybe. Yeah, I think it's 4 or 5 right now. But you can see that darker stuff. Let me get turned around here, guys. You can see it. So from the bush pile, so to speak, coming west across the fence line and all the way over to where I am now and all the way down to them trees over that way, that all has manure on it now. So yeah, spreading the shit, that organic fertilizer. Let's see what happens, if this is going to make a huge difference for us next year or the year after. We're crossing our fingers and hoping so. Anyway, I'm going to keep trucking here, so I'm going to let you guys go. We'll talk to y'all later. Well, there it is. That corral's all cleaned out. I got to get a bucket load or 2 of clay and put it right in the corner inside the shelter part. But that's minor detail. We are done hauling manure for me for this year. Now to run this load out, then pull all the twine off. There ain't that much, but there is a little bit. Give it a real good grease job and get ready for a small custom job. Anyway, fun. Let's get her done. I'll catch you guys a little later. Alrighty. Well, that looks a lot better than it was. Not a big pile of twine, but that's both beaters, all of the manure, all of our corrals. Small pile. And some of that is twine from God knows how many years old, because I haven't used orange twine in years. Like, I haven't used orange round baler twine in probably, oh God, close to 15 years. So I'm guessing some of that's older than that even. But these guys, so if you guys go back in our videos, anything that'll say Kuhn Pro Push 2044, rebuild and so on and so forth, you'll see that we had to rebuild the axles in this thing when we bought it. There was no cage in the front. Well, kinda, sorta. It was literally flapping in the wind. It was made out of 1x1 square tubing 100 wall, which is super thin. So I built the cage up front. We pulled both axles completely out and had to rebuild both axles. This flighting, and I'll show you guys. See here? See how it's bent right there really bad? Well, that's a spot where you can get all of these big manure spreaders with the vertical beaters. You get these flails. Basically, it's something like this. Not as big, as heavy duty as what I did, and they would bolt on. Well, previous owner wore it out so bad that where you would bolt a flail, instead of replacing and putting a new flail, he just kept running with it and wore the flighting right out where you can't even bolt a flail on. So yeah, we needed to fix her up. So, and the flighting is bent, as you can see right there. It's not supposed to be like that, right? That's bent pretty good. Another one bent right there. So anyway, CP and I went to work and we worked at getting them, the flighting straightened out as best we could. It's not perfect. Don't get me wrong. I know it's not perfect. But it's a lot better than it was. Like over here, I should have pulled this son of a bitch harder and got it lifted up higher. Same as that one there. This one here, it could have been tilted up more. This one could have been tilted up more. You can see it's tilted downward, but you guys have seen the work that it's doing. So it's flinging the shit and breaking the clumps up pretty fucking good. We also had to put on here, we put these extensions in because it broke off right there. There's like a shear bolt here that if you hook a rock and it wedges in the table, in the pan down low, it'll break that shear bolt, which is only a 5/16 bolt. And then this is flopping in the wind, so to speak. But put these extensions on all the way around on both paddles, or both sets of flighting, augers. Anyway, I actually did put one big ass fucking rock in, and I did not have a very good weld, and I ripped it off right there. So we'll have to get a new one on there. But after 2 years of monkeying with this thing, that's the only one that we've had issues with. So I'd say we're doing okay. And I have put some bigger rocks through it over the last couple years. I do have some of that flighting still, or that material kicking around. Right there. So what is it? It's 1 inch by 2 inch solid steel bar. That's what I was using for flightings. Most of the guys out there that are building these machines, that would go on right there like that. Right like that. Just weld that sumbitch on, clean it up and weld her on. But most of the guys that are building these machines, these bars are made out of 1/2 inch or 5/8. I have not seen one yet where it's 1 inch bars. But anywho, this one is 1 inch bar. So I'll wire brush this flighting up really good in here. We'll lace the weld in hardcore, and we'll be good to rock and roll. Yeah, you can see where, see here? She's been hitting some fucking stones, right? So, anyway, that concludes the corral cleaning at the BCP Farm and Trucking Ranch. So, we've got one guy for sure that wants us to come and spread manure. He's going to load us. And I don't know if Straight Pipes wants me to come in November or not to his place, or if he managed to get his corrals all cleaned out. But, yeah, there she be. I'm going to let you guys go. Y'all have a good one. We'll yammer at you later.